Yeah, yeah, I'll have it taped and then I'll release the full thing. I'll let you get set. Now I'll get you a good angle. Wonderful. So, what are some things that you're excited about that are going on right now in the county?
Well, I mean, clearly, let's fix that. Yeah, I think a lot of what we've been working on for the last several years, and a little more development. Clearly, when you look at what we've been through and what we've been able to invest in, from the county's point of view. I mean, there's kind of, I look at it from two different, not just perspective, but two different roles. So there's county government that has, the role of our county structures, our county system, and then there's the outside role that we have in the community to make improvements in the community. And in the county, I mean, we've restructured, we've consolidated, we've done a great many things to strengthen our financial base and to expand, our investments at MBCC, at Griffiths International Airport, at Union Station, that are county-run operations and departments and county-owned structures, and a lot of exciting things have happened in the last several years. We built a new terminal building at Griffiths to handle general aviation. The UAS test site is expanding literally every day.
Yeah.
And we're making more of an investment as we go into 2019. We're going to invest even more into UAS research and development and incubator space and an indoor sky dome for drone testing. That's something we're very excited about and proud of. And then same with MVCC. Our two campuses continue to expand in terms of their size and scope and structures. And in doing so, we have a county government that is on strong financial footing, so we have the wherewithal and we have funding availability to help improve and invest in the community in things like this. I mentioned Union Station. I talk about the public market and the reconstruction of the REA wing down there that's really going to lead to more activity in Bag Square, so we're complementing the existing businesses that are already there. We've been the strongest partner with the Adirondack Bank Center at the Utica Memorial Auditorium in getting $20 million of investment over the years, the Utica Comets, but also just expanding that. The next phase of that overall scope is part of what I pitched in as the U District, as the Nexus Center, which I'm hopeful that we can get literally in the ground and off the ground in 2019. The overall investment that's taken place as a result of our strength and working together with the city of Utica, working together with the city of Rome. The partnerships that we've established to stay away from at least as much of the political posturing that we can, which is inherent and part of the system we're in. But we've staked out for the most part people and leaders that can work together regardless of party affiliation to better the community, and I think we're doing that. And then there's the hospital, which is another big piece of the pie. I mean, and we still have our sights set on Marcy for some type of chip or packaging center for technology. So I'm excited about a lot of things. I think that we're seeing investment and growth that we haven't seen in I don't necessarily want to say my lifetime, but in a long time, because there was other investment at times, and then there was a downcast. So I think the days have been better and getting better.
Yeah, talk a few about the U district too, because that's kind of been your key project.
Well, the U
there.
district is a proposal. It's not it's not anything that's completely cast in stone. It had different components to it, some of which are controversial, some which are less so. But the idea really is just that in terms of, so how do we maximize the capacity that we have, and how do we generate and feed off of the activity of places like Bag Square, like the Auditorium District, like Varick Street, for greater amount of people, to have a clear arts, sports, and entertainment district that really does complement the business model that's here. You can, at the end of the day, you can have successful businesses, and we have many. We have great businesses here, and we can attract more, but that becomes harder if you don't have enough for people to do. And enough, the quality of life is still an important part of what drives economic development, and there's no question that's a major factor and really a major piece of it. So the U district was really designed to again maximize our capacity and potential for people. I've said from all my years working, but in my time as county executive, my goal is, yes, I need I want more economic activity, and to do that I need more people, and to get more people I need more economic development activity. So they go hand in hand, and that's where we need to center our focus. We have land availability, we have potential, and when you look out there, you can see. And so the U district was really, how do we capitalize on what's happening down there? And with the anchor, if you will, of the auditorium, and what it's done since 2013 with the Comets, and then now with soccer and with other entertainment. How do we maximize what goes around it? So the initial concept had what we call the craft beer experience. It had a casino, and it had the Nexus Center. Now, it's not an all or nothing equation. It's let's see what we can do first, second, third, or first and second, or maybe something else pops up. It's a concept, and it's a concept that has been successful in other urban areas that have that have sought to rebrand and regrow their downtown corridors. And so it's a concept. It's an idea but an idea that has merit and has some has great possibility if along with investment. Obviously everything costs, and everything has to have specific buy-in, but nothing's cast in stone, and nothing's a given. I think we just need to see what we can sustain and what the public is willing to adhere to.
Yeah, you mentioned that there are some controversial parts of the U district. Talk for a moment about the casino, about the proposal, where it stands now, and what you think could happen if it does end up going through.
Well, it really, that's probably the one that initially gets the most attention because of what it is. It's the one that gets again, more attention because of the Oneida's attachment to it. But it's one that comes, without any cost really to the taxpayers, because the Oneidas have and continue to invest, without any subsidy from government. Now, they'll argue about taxes, yet the agreement that we reached 5 years ago provides the county with significant revenue sharing from those enterprises, unlike any other enterprise in Oneida County. And so, but I realize it's controversial. The mayor's not a fan of it. The governor hasn't really signed off, so it's not anywhere right now. It's a thought. It's a concept. But I don't besmirch anybody's ideas. I think any idea is a good idea, because it gives you a thought. I mean, it's being creative. I don't think anybody should dismiss an idea just initially. Obviously it needs to go through a vetting, and look, in time, if something like that doesn't materialize, it's not gonna make or break. I mean, it's a matter of what can we do? How do we look at things differently? When you look at what the Oneidas were willing to put in terms of an investment of some $50 million, I think that enhances the other properties and the other businesses around. Now, let's go back. Yes, it is a casino. I think the myths or the misgivings that it leads to drug trafficking and all the other nonsense that's been spewed has been just that. I mean, and that's my opinion. So, but it's if you want to say where it stands, it doesn't stand anywhere right now because it's not being done.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about, there are some people who believe that the casino and the hospital are somehow connected because of a parking garage.
They're not at all. The casino is not being built. It's not even. I mean, it was a concept. It was a concept that was thrown out there like other things. Look, I hear. I have to. I mean, it's not something that one way or another can be done without the mayor, or whoever the mayor is, or the governor, whoever the governor is. It needs buy-in from everybody, and there's not. And I accept that. That's fine. I mean, it's okay for me to. I think it's still okay for me to have that idea.
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't begrudge anybody that has the same on some other type of concept. But to say that it's not good for a downtown, it's being done in Schenectady. It's being done, in Niagara Falls. It's being done in other parts of the country. So to say that it doesn't belong in an urban area that's not an answer. If you don't want it, you don't want it. That's fine. I get it. I mean, I'm not, but it's not. They're not tied together at all. And quite frankly, the Oneidas don't need. If the Oneidas, let me try and cut to the chase on that. If the Oneidas wanted to build a casino, or we're going to build a casino, and with everybody's blessing or approval, or however you want to phrase it, they don't need us to build them anything. They've built everything on their own with for their model. So the casino and the garage and the hospital are not connected at all.
You never had any backroom meetings with Anthony Brindisi?
No.
Or okay, good.
Over. Wait a minute. Let's clarify that. What backroom meeting?
What has been theorized? This is not my personal opinion or anything. Is that there is some connection between the hospital and the casino through the garage, in that people going to the casino would need a place to park, they would park in the garage. And let me continue on that train of thought. There is 3,000 parking spaces currently set out for the garage, or for the hospital. That puts you at about
Not in the garage.
1,500 in the garage,
Approximately.
1,500 surface parking.
Yeah, sure.
That sets out about 8 parking spaces per bed inside the hospital.
Okay.
If you're going off of the parking in both the garage, which
But
is
that's not all public parking.
technically for the, I know, the garage, is the garage technically a part of the hospital project, or is that a separate
No,
project?
it's part of the hospital. It's separate because it's being done by the county and the city in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But it's clearly connected because it's a necessity.
How
for
is
the
it a
hospital.
necessity?
Well, and because the investment by the state, the investment by the hospital, the surface parking that's available, I believe that there is a role that the county and the city play in regards to the hospital. I believe that from the beginning.
Yeah.
I can't sit here as county executive and say that I don't care about a hospital in
Okay.
Utica, Rome,
Yeah.
or wherever. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not
It
true. I
affects the
have
county.
to care
Yeah.
about it. It's about, in addition, we also run a health department, public health, that is required to deal with a lot of these issues.
Yeah, exactly.
So, the fact that we're involved in a hospital project is what we should be doing in one way or another.
Yeah.
And in terms of infrastructure, so the connection of the hospital is not unlike the connection of any other business that would locate in an area in which we would either provide parking, whether it's surface or even a garage. And there is history to that.
Yeah.
There is history to that from the hotel that sits, just
Yeah.
2 blocks down from us. There is history that sits behind me as I sit here in what used to be, long before you were around, the Boston store and its businesses that have been city run or city or built in terms of those investments. So if a hospital system is building a new state-of-the-art, approximately $600 million building in downtown, and look to the city and the county in this case as, how do we help and talk about a garage, I think that's in our best interest for our people to have a place to park. And so, I think that answers your question. How are they connected?
Yeah.
That's how they're connected.
Yeah, and also,
So if I miss something, please.
No,
tell
yeah.
me.
The only thing I can say is that there's been a lot of parking that seems to be not a necessity. That seems to be excess parking. That buildings are being taken where they maybe wouldn't need to be otherwise.
Anyone only has to go either up to either St. Elizabeth's currently or St. Luke's, the St. Luke's campus, and even the Faxton campus. All of them. And in the Faxton campus, I can even tell you the parking lot across the street from Faxton is owned by the county of Oneida because that's where Murnane Field is.
Right.
So we have we have a function there. So we in essence we do have some role in that. But the parking is not just solely for the people in those hospital beds. It's for the workers. It's for the employees. And we have done numerous things for businesses when it comes to their employees. And some of these structures that have been built in downtown, or the surface lots that have been built for, or have been resurfaced for employees. We did it here. We do it for the public here. I redid the lots around this building to increase public and employee parking. That's what we do. Our role is to provide proper infrastructure. It's in our best interest. If we want people to come here and visit here, but also be treated here, I think we have a role. So that's where I clearly don't see the harm in a parking garage or an investment that has been done time and time again.
Yeah, the only thing that we've been seeing is that we did a study of 12 other downtown hospitals, like hospitals located
Mm-hmm.
in the city. And the one with the most parking was the Seattle Children's Hospital, which has almost triple the beds and 10 times as many citizens with cars in the cities for public use. And they only have 1,200 spaces. I'm sorry, they have 3,100 spaces, my bad. They have 3,100 spaces in their parking facilities. So why do we need as many as Seattle? Are we expecting people to be coming here like they are in Seattle? Or is there going to be a massive expansion onto the hospital in terms of beds? Or why are we preparing for triple the size of hospital that we would need otherwise?
When you look at surface, I think some of that surface parking growth that the hospital's looking at is for future growth. In terms of that, which is in their best interest to get it now rather than later.
Correct.
At the same time, I think when you look at a garage structure itself, that tends to be, in the most case, the preferred locale for people, especially in the hospital or visiting the hospital, and for some of the doctors and the staff that need early access. In terms of how the hospital came to their surface parking numbers, you'd have to really ask them a little bit more. I think our concern too is, while a hospital of its size and scope, in a downtown that has other businesses, it's going to displace some of those places to park. Some of those streets get changed. The areas around the downtown get changed. The landscape gets changed. So at the same time, the point is, it's not just about, and this goes back to, I guess, why the casino argument comes in, but people can still park in the garage if they're not going to the hospital for that particular day or night. In Syracuse, I think you can look at those hospitals and look at the number of parking that's there, and then what happens at nighttime when there's events at Syracuse University or whatever. So I don't think it's out of the ordinary or out of any kind of questioning that people that visit downtown for other needs could use those parking spots. So I think it just benefits the entire landscape of the city. So the numbers, I guess when I look at what's out there, and then the fact that you're going from 3 hospitals to 1 on a 24/7 basis, I don't know. I don't think it's that big a problem. But I also believe that the extended need benefits everybody. It's not just it's being built as a result and in conjunction with the hospital, but also with a public purpose.
Yeah, and then there's one more thing I wanted to ask you too. There has been a $100,000 deposit put down about a month ago by No Hospital Downtown, the group there, for legal fees, as they believe that eminent domain, taking private property and giving it to another sort of public-private entity that MVHS is, they believe that is unconstitutional. What is your ideas on where that is, and is the county prepared to get into legal battles if they should arise over eminent domain?
Well, so the first part of the question, looking at, eminent domain is used throughout the country for a variety of public purposes, and the most important of which at times is public health, healthcare. So in the concept of that, I don't agree that it's unconstitutional. I believe that there is a public purpose here, and then for the greater good. And obviously that's the argument, and that would be the argument in the court of law. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so let me clarify that, because somebody's going to say, what does he know? He's not a lawyer. Right. That's correct. I'm not a lawyer. But I have lawyers obviously that work for me here. I have a great deal of experience in economic development from my previous work and in my time here, and so I've been through many of these issues in previous times. having said that, is the county prepared? The county's invested, and we're a partner in this. So what we have to do and what we can do, we will. And if that unfortunately requires us, I assume we will have to go to court for eminent domain. But I think, that the other issue of eminent domain is proving that public purpose first and foremost. And once that's proven, there's really not. The next argument is the cost. So, I think what's getting lost here, and then, maybe in your interviews, you should talk to, maybe a lawyer who's not directly related or associated with it to understand eminent domain. As I do, but I don't want to, express that because again, people are going to say, "Well, I'm not a lawyer." The same as I know you're not a lawyer.
Right.
You can be. So, the point here is, are we prepared? Yes, we're prepared because we're, I believe in this hospital project for the betterment of this entire community, not just for the city, because it's not just the city undertaking. It's really, while it is will be located in Utica, it is for the betterment of really the region. Because it serves and it will serve, as the current hospitals do, a wider range, a wider swath. And more importantly, it's about building a future that, again, when people look at where to live, where to have their business, healthcare is a major factor, if not the major factor, along with education, to determine, where they're going to locate. But it's also about, we have a health industry that is aging, that we have had some difficulties in attracting young and specialized physicians and medical staff.
Definitely.
And that's the other reason we need to do this. So, we're invested in it. We're look, I know I'm not going to sit in this chair forever. Somebody else is going to come along, and then obviously they can have a different opinion of that. But as we move forward in the next year, we'll start making these things move on our end, and hopefully see, maybe in the next 4 or 5 years, changing landscape.
Thank you very much for sitting down with us for this interview. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.